Hey everybody, this is Aperture and welcome to this live stream on Gods Unchained. Um, I'm Aperture, I'm a Birdnest team member. For those who don't know me, maybe there are some people who followed Gods Unchained and are currently on the live stream, but if you came from the Birdnest YouTube, you already probably know me. For those who are new, make sure you like and subscribe the video. I'm going to take a look at Gods Unchained, and I came across this game while I was investing the metaverse and, of course, the play to earn games. And what attracted me to Gods Unchained was basically that it was a trading card game. And I played a lot of trading card games in the past. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot, but I also played Hearthstone. And for those who played Hearthstone, and also played Gods Unchained, they will probably recognize quite some of the mechanisms. So I think for Hearthstone players, this already feels at home. Um, I'm also interested in this because it's bringing the trading card game a little bit further with that play to earn mechanism, and also like that player to player playing where you can basically, like in the past we had these real life trading card games where you could just share your cards with friends or trade them with each other. But for example, in Hearthstone, it was back to a closed game environment where you could buy packs, you could collect cards, you could dust them, for example, and then turn that dust into new cards, but you couldn't trade your cards. And I think Gods Unchained uh, will make that easier in sharing cards or buying them from other players. So I will take a look at that later in this video. I will go over what Gods Unchained has on the website. I will show you how you can earn, like the real play to earn aspect of this game. And of course, I will play maybe a few games, at least one, maybe more if there is time, and show you how you can use your cards in a game in a more efficient way and how you can play a game, at least to battle your opponents. Because I noticed when I went into the game at first that I was playing either against an experienced opponent or either against a really unexperienced opponent who was just coming in, didn't have anything of experience in these trading card games, and those are basically easy wins. But it's still fun. But of course, you can rank up and you'll be against people of your own level later on. Before I start, I'll have to say that this video is sponsored by Crypto.com. It's the only single exchange that allows you to trade more than 200 pairs with up to 10x leverage. You can get access to more than 40 quarterly futures and perpetual contracts. You can earn daily rewards on your balances with no lockup period. You can find all the information right at the description of this video and earn more than $50 USD worth of CRO if you use the link below. Anyway, let's take a look at Gods Unchained. So let's start with the website. It shows you that it's a trading card game that pays to play, and it shows you also this use case that in 2019 a lot of players spent money on in-game items, but players didn't receive it. Went all to these giant companies, and that's what a lot of critique showed us, is that traders were just paying more and more for basically useless in-game assets which they couldn't bring in from one account to another or from one game to another. And I think NFTs solve that problem. So that's also what Gods Unchained wants to solve. You can sell eventually your cards as NFTs and give it to other players. You can make money from that. And you can probably trade it for other in-game items later on. So it gives you that true ownership for these players. And the great thing about Gods Unchained is that it's a free-to-play game. So it gives you complete ownership over all your in-game items. You can collect all these cards. You can spend time on collecting cards and build your deck. But you can also sell those cards if you don't need them anymore. And you can sell them to these other players. And this is what my problem was, for example, with Hearthstone, is that I spent a lot of time playing it, optimizing decks, dusting cards, collecting cards, building new decks, but eventually they kept releasing new cards and new cards, and I had all those old cards. I spent a lot of time on them, but I had to keep buying packs. I had to spend time, and I couldn't really see where it was going, and eventually lost my interest. Well, it actually captured my interest for quite a few years. So that was a good feature of the game. I know there are even some old like Hearthstone players working on the game or creating content for the game, so that's really easy to also bridge from one trading card game to another. But also there is already quite some content on Gods Unchained, because they know it's really important to help traders and actually these gamers out to get into this game. I think there's a really good article over here. Let me zoom in a little bit, and it's from CoinGecko. I will share that one in the chats with you, so you can read it in your own time. There we go. And it is a little beginner's guide, so you can get up to speed with the game. So it shows you how to play, what the interface is, how you select a deck, how you choose a god power, etc., etc. So that's, I think, a really good article if you want to get started, so you at least know a little bit what you're doing. But of course, the best experience is to start playing the game itself and just experience why you're losing. It isn't always the funniest experience, but you'll see you're making mistakes in the game, and I think these trading card games show you quick when you make a wrong move, or you could have made a better move. So you need to do small optimizations so you get better over time. I talked a little bit about how you can play to earn on this game, and currently there are two ways to get or potentially get money on Gods Unchained. So you can earn cards by playing, and you can earn new card packs if you play ranked matches. And you'll see just in a moment what a ranked match is, but you can earn cards in the game, and you can eventually sell them on the market, and other players can buy them. And that's, I think, a really important mechanism here, because that way you can also build a deck. You can select the cards you want, you can buy them from other players, and it will create some competitive market in which cards will be valued on the worth in decks and the worth in the game. So if you have a really strong card, you can probably sell that, or you can use that to win more games. So you can get card packs through the game. And there is also the Blessings of the Gods campaign. And that campaign actually just started. It started on the 2nd of November. And it lasts for 8 weeks. So we still have 5 or 4 weeks left in this campaign. And you can play some ranked games. And by doing that, you can rank up, and you can, on average, as this article says, earn around 5 to 11 gods per week. So there are some criteria which are fairly reasonable. You need to play 20 ranked games or more. You need to win at least 7 of them. You need to pass 4 rounds, which is quite normal in this game, 4 rounds. And then you need to be at least a rank 4. But I think if you played those 20 games, if you won a few of these games, and you normally played the game, you are eligible for this campaign. And they calculate your ranking and your score. So the better you do, the better, the bigger the reward is in Gods. So you will get a percentage from that reward pool. You can also find the details of that mechanism here. So just by playing currently, you can get 5 to 11 Gods. And let's take a look like Gods Coin Gecko. We can type it in and see the value of Gods right now. Well, the value currently is $6. So that means that you can earn $30 to $66 on average on Gods Unchained every week by just playing it. Of course, if you get better, if you get more cards, eventually you'll earn more. I think that's basically the introduction of the play to earn system. I see in the chats here that the top players, the top 10, can make about $500 each week. So if you're really a top player and you collect these cards, or you just play quite good, you can make up to $500 per week. So you can actually almost make a living out of this already. And there is also, I think, another use for those God tokens, but I'm not really going into that now. I actually want to show you the game right now. So you can download the game on the website. You can go over here, and then you can click play for free. It's godsunchained.com, and you can download a program that's called Immutable. You can maybe see it at the bottom. No, you can't see that. That's really funny. You can't. It's called Immutable, and through Immutable, you can enter the game. You have to set up an account. Of course, for being eligible for receiving Gods tokens, you have to connect the wallet to your account. So don't forget that. Connect the wallet. And I see a couple of comments that in the forge, so in the market, you can spend your gods too. So if you collect your god points, you can also just spend them on the trading cards. So it creates an interesting mechanism where you can use your gods tokens to cash out or actually build a better deck, which is quite normal in these games. So anyway, you can go into the game and you can click play now, and eventually you'll go inside the application, and this is the window you're presented with. I just started playing this week, so I don't have a lot of extra cards, but you can already build on quite a nice deck because you're given a few basic decks. So let's start with that. You can, here at the top, click on collections, and you can see what cards you have. You can see what boards you have, what trinkets. You can go into the workshop, and that's where you can see your decks. So here you can see my decks. You can even import decks. I thought this was a really important feature. You can import a deck from a friend or you found online. So people can actually share decks by entering a code, and then it loads the whole deck. So that's really important if you want to build a deck a friend made, or what you often have in these trading card games is some kind of meta where you have maybe more aggressive decks and maybe more decks that focus on late game, and you can always find decks online you can that have some of these tactics in them or some interesting mechanics between the characters, and you can just download them and put them in the game. But there are some starter decks here. You can see the starter decks over here. You can, of course, build your own. But if you click on a deck, you can see that this is your deck at the bottom. A deck has 30 cards. And here at the bottom, you can see the mana cost of the cards, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I will go a little bit later into that mana mechanism. But for now, understand that you'll get mana every turn, and you can spend that mana for a card. So you have to play a card, and that will spend some mana for you, and eventually you'll have to think about how much can I play in a turn for that mana. So you need to think about that in your deck building. You have to think, do I have enough low value cards, or do I have too much high mana cards? So you don't want too much high mana cards. So you need to think about, like, where do I shift that balance for lower mana or higher mana. But simply said, you can click on that category of charts. You can filter. You can group by health, by attack, by tribes. You can filter by mana cost. You can filter by or sort by attack, whatever. So let's do that. Let's pick all the 1 mana cards. So these are all the 1 mana cards I have. And the ones that aren't grayed out, I can actually use, and those are the ones I have in my possession. And maybe I don't want this card, the Untamed Growth. So I remove that one, and I actually want to put in a Ghost Maw Raider. And all these cards have different effects. So, for example, Ghost Maw Raider here has the effect that creatures damaged by this creature get burned +1. And burn is a card effect that does 1 damage to every single card. To that 1 card where it gets burned 1 every turn. So you can see here in a card that there is like a 3 and a 1 and a mana. So on the top here, you can see that there is that 1 in the triangle. And on the bottom, on the left, there is a 3. That's like the attack points. And then on the right, there is that 1, and that's actually the health. So you can make decisions on how valuable a card is by judging, like, how much attack does it have, judging how much health does it have, and how much mana does it need to be played. And of course, the effect on the card, because you can maybe find some interactions between cards that give you more value. So let's put this one in, just drop it over here, and then I change some cards out. You can go like into very deep with these decks. You can build them from scratch. But like one tip already, make sure you have a good idea of how much mana is in total in your deck and how you spread that out through all these mana costs. So actually how your deck ramps up. And we'll talk a little bit more later on what it means to ramp. Some people might understand these words or ideas already from previous card games, but I think that will be better understood when I finally play a game. So you can look at your decks. So this is the deck builder. You have in the game, you have different gods. So there's a nature god, there's light god, there's war, there's magic, there's death, there's deception. And all these gods have different cards they can play. And of course, there are some cards that can be shared between gods, but some are really specific for that god. And they also require a different play style. So try to find the god that works best for your strategies, or try to master them all and see what decks are being played in the meta. Let's see. Like, I can also open packs. Like, you can open a pack and you can see what cards you got. You get these packs through that ranking system. So make sure you play a few ranked matches so you get more cards. And as you can see, this card is, for example, blue. I think that's a rare one. And you at least have one rare, but you can also have, I think, more legendary cards in there if you're really lucky, which are also worth more. So you can also open packs and eventually improve your decks that way. I think I see in the chats that they're launching a campaign mode, so I'll also take a look at that. So this is the basic interface. I'm going to play a game a bit later on. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Birb Nest, we are still running discount codes, so please visit the birbnest.com. We still have that Black Friday sale coming up. We are counting down this week, so every day there's less discount. But if you join BirbNest, you can get access to daily webinars on crypto trading. You can have advice from professional traders. There's calls. You can ask questions about crypto. So please check it out. And if you want a subscription, we have several ones. You can click here on the website and see which subscriptions we offer. But discount is slowly fading away. So today, on the 2nd of December, there's only a 50% discount. Tomorrow, there's only a 10% one. And on the 4th, the discount actually ends. So we won't do a discount at that moment. So that said, this stream is a little bit different from what I normally do in the Birb Nest. Normally, I talk about the market, about the charts. So I'm not going to take a look at the Gods chart here. I talked about that with the members in the Birb Nest already. This is more a stream on the game itself. So I think the moment we've all been waiting for, I'm actually mostly excited for this, actually playing a game. And I'm going to play a ranked game. And a ranked game, you can rise in the ranks, you can unlock rewards, and earn flux for card crafting. So you can earn flux, that's, I think, this thing over here. And you can use that in crafting cards and gathering even more cards. So that's important for collecting more and more cards. So I already selected the deck. I made a few changes to the basic starter deck. So I thought it would ramp a little bit better. But let's go and play. So before a game actually starts, there are a few things you have to do as a player. You already have chosen a deck, and on the deck there is already a god, and that god, it has a god power, and you can select that god power over here. You can see, you can clear mind, you can mage bolt, you can pick palace genius, and all these cost like either 1, 2, or 3 mana for this god. And I'm going to go for Mage Bolt, and it does 1 damage. I can do that to a god or a card. And I think that fits the style of the deck I'm currently playing the best. So I pick the god power here. And then I get 3 cards at the start of a game. And what I have to do, and I have to be a little bit quicker because I have the time, you can see the time running above. I have to pick cards I actually want to start with. And the idea is to get lower mana cards so I can actually play them at the start. Because over here on the bottom right, you can see that there is a counter. And that currently I have 1 mana. And every turn I get an extra mana point, which you can recognize from Hearthstone probably. But what's different is that you can actually, until turn 5, you get 1 per turn. But after, there's like mana that's not unlocked yet. So it grows, and at turn 6, you don't get 6 mana, but you actually still have 5. And you can see that it's small over here, smaller, like buckets where that mana is in, and you need to wait 2 turns for that 6th mana. And I read that the creators of this game did that to actually spread out the game a little bit better. And the critique on other games was that maybe something ran too quick towards that late game, so you had players who were stalling a lot with their cards and with their tactics to play eventually that late game. and actually forgot all about that early game. What they did here with Gods Unchained is actually made the early game a little bit longer by stalling that mana and shifting the value actually from the early game to the later game. So as you can see, I currently had 2 mana, and this is
I'm out of options.
effect of this card. So let me go into what I just did. Like, I spent 2 mana because I had 2 mana, and I played the Third Eye Seer. And the Third Eye Seer has the effect that's called Roar. It affects trigger when they are played from the hand. So I played it from my hand into the board, and then I got the effect. And the effect was actually 4C, and 4C means that I can look at the top X card of my deck, so that's 1, and you can choose any number of cards that go to the bottom of your deck. So I could literally choose what card I would get next. I could see like the first card, and then if I want that card, I just leave it there. If I don't want that, I'll skip it, and then I get another card. So I have just drawn another card that's called Vanir Lion. And currently, I don't really have a lot of options. I can play this Wicked Trapper because I have 1 mana, and I don't have like a real 3 mana. But I have that hero power that does 1 damage. So what I can do is I can trade. You know, I can set this up for 2 health. I can trade this to attack creature into that one, and they're both gone. And there, I cleaned the opponent's board. So right now I have still this creature on here. And all creatures that are killed go to the void. So you have a void over here where you can see the creatures I have played. And you can see what I have played, of course, and you can also look at your opponent's void. And there are some mechanisms on these cards that interact with the void. So that's important to know. Let's see, I have 4 mana because I got 1 extra. So I can play either the Vanir Lion, so it can give a friendly creature extra strength, or I can play the Underbridge Silent, or I can play the Third Eye Seer with that hero power. I'm going for this one, and then trade this one for that one. So I clear the board again. This creature is safe. It's fairly high attack in this game. So for 4 mana, 5 attack is clearly high, but it doesn't have that much health. So it's easily removed by the opponent from the game. And this is how you actually try to defeat your opponent. You try to get value from your cards. You put 1 monster against the other, and that way you optimize the value you get. And over here you can see that's the Shadow Paladin, and it's hidden for 1 turn, so I can't attack that. Over here we have this creature. After this creature attacks, it gains 1 strength, but it can't attack yet, so because it's still the opponent's turn. Not yet the opponent's turn. So let me remove that one. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do here. Let's do something like that. Pick. I don't need that. Yeah, I can use that one. Yeah. Okay.
I'm running out of time.
And then I'm out of time. So you need to, there is some timing mechanism here, so you don't have a lot of like excessive time, so you don't need to wait a lot of time for the opponent. It isn't a total time for your whole turn. It is a time for your turn, but you get a little bit of extra time every time a card is played. But eventually you can't play any more cards, of course, because you run out of mana. So I have 2 choices now. I can either pick the Vanir Lion, I can either pick Mind Jolt, or I could play the Small Bag of Tricks. And the Small Bag of Tricks is there, and I think I'm going to play. I'm not sure if I want that. Give until the end of the turn. This is a really hard one. I think I need to have board. This is probably not the smartest move. Let's do something like that.
Let's see how this.
But you can use that small bag of tricks for an extra mana, and they did this in the game because if you are playing as a second player, you always have a disadvantage, and that disadvantage is actually because you go second, the other player can choose their turn, they can choose their first cards, and that creates an imbalance. So what they did here is they added a bag of tricks, and the player who goes first gets only 1 extra mana gem, and the player who goes second gets 3 of these extra mana gems. So that's a interesting mechanism you can use, so you can get an extra mana, so you can up your you can get a little bit of extra mana. I'm not going to deal 3 damage to an enemy creature. I want to remove that one. I'm going to use my hero power to remove that card. And basically, I cleared the whole board and still have a creature left. So I have some advantage already on the board. It's not much. It's only 3 cards. But the opponent only has 3 cards, and I have 3 cards, which are quite high mana, so quite valuable. And we're going into that late game. So I have 6 mana, and next turn I have like 6.5 mana. But I can spend 6 mana in this turn. So I can eventually play Epiphany, which deals 6 damage and draw a card. But I'm not going to do that because this is a removal. So I can remove and target high defense creatures. And the problem is that the opponent has this creature, which is deadly. It's really expensive. It has 4. It takes 4 mana to play it, but any amount of deadly damage will destroy the opponent creature. So that makes this a little bit hard, whether I want to play a creature or just sit this out until I can trade that with lower level creatures. And I think I want to just draw 2 cards because this is where a trading card game is actually really useful. Let's play this. This is I'm not sure if I want to do this actually, but yeah, I clicked already, so I'll have to. You'll have to spend your resources wise. You only have cards. You only draw 1 per turn. You'll get mana. You only have a limited amount of mana per turn, so you have to decide if you want to trade, play a card or save it for later on. And right now I don't have that board control. I actually lost board control here, and the opponent is putting on actually quite a decent board, so I have to counter that. And I only have 7 mana to counter that, which is still fine because I can put on this Helios Battlesworn, and both these 2 can't really attack that one. So what I can do is I can remove that one, which was poisonous, and then I can put on the Helios Battlesworn here. That still doesn't really put me into safety because I haven't really talked about this, but every god has 30 health points. And once those 30 health points run down, that's where the game's over. So you want to make sure you don't end up below 0 here. And the opponent is actually doing a really, really well move, a fairly good attack here. So this is where I have to think what my options are. And this is also a really fun feature on the right. There is that Sanctum. You can take a card over here, which isn't really valuable. And you get those points in game. But I'm definitely going to play the Hoplite here because it protects me from direct damage. I want to remove that one. And I'm also going to put this enemy to sleep. I think that's a really good move here. So it puts it to sleep and it can't attack the next turn. So this is why I want to just make that sleep, because it's a 10-10. It's absolutely one of the strongest cards. Or actually the biggest stats you can get in the game currently. It doesn't have other effects, but you know, at 10-10, it's really hard to handle that. So I need to find a way to counter that, or at least block it before it goes attacking against me. And he's trying to bring my health down a lot here. So I have to make sure I get rid of that bull, but if I can, I have the upper hand because I still have board, I have more cards, I have quite some strong cards actually on the board, and I actually didn't hope he would
My turn.
would do something like that. So I have to think of something smart here. I have to at least stall that bull. So I'm going to remove that card. I can stall that bull with this card over here. But maybe there is an option over here. Deal 2 damage and 1 damage to the opponent's god. I can draw a card. I can remove... I could maybe even use the 2 damage later on. So I'll spend these favors. I get in cards, but I'm not going to do that right now. Let's play this one. It's frontline, and frontline means that
I'm going to enjoy.
enemies must attack frontline creatures before they can attack anything else. So this one has to attack that, in which case it takes 6 damage. So there it is, 4 damage. And this was the plan I already had in mind, where I could play that form of power, where I can play deal 2 damage to this one, and I also have 2 damage on the board. So you have to keep calculating what you want to do. And I actually I'm thinking about doing a full remove of this board, where I can like first do that. Then I can click the form of power, so I can remove that one. But I also want to remove that creature, and it's either the question if I do it with a creature or actually another card. And I'm going to use a card because I get an extra card over here, and then the board is cleared. But I need to put something fast on the board. Like, I really need to. So I think I should actually place this one. This is a really strong card, and this is what I mentioned. Like, later in the game, you can play really strong, overpowered cards, which can really help you a lot. And I think I need to play that one. And I can also play that mana crystal, which refreshes 1 mana. So I can play this 8, or I can play this 8. I think I need more. I need more on the board. So this is a really tough decision. I think I'm going to clear the board fully with this one. And I'm going to refresh 1 mana crystal. So you get 1 mana crystal. And I can get this one on the board. So I'm building board presence right now. And I have 8 damage on the board. And every card he gets, he has to play, because otherwise there isn't much. Or he can wait, but time is also running out for him. Like, time is basically running out for us both. And this is actually the worst card I could get against me, because I still have 2 health left, and he has 2 damage to deal to me. So I don't have much options, because I'm 100% certain next turn I'm dead. But I have this card, which gives me a rune card, and I can add it to my hand. So hopefully I get a card that can heal me. So here I can see it. Heal 3 to a friendly creature unto your god. So let's do that. Let's heal a creature, which is actually useless, because I don't have damage on creatures, but I get extra health on my god. And this turned the game totally for me. And this is why you have to be mindful of your resources and at what moment you can play a card, because they can actually save you for another turn, and that turn might be enough to finish the other god off. So this is actually, I put myself in a spot where I think I'm going to win. And I turned actually my loss in that last moment into a win. He can play anything. He still has 11 health left, and that's where I just go faces the god creature and then finish it off. That's where I win. So that was really tight here. And it helps but it helps, it's those small victories and those small chances you win and the small decisions you make in the total game that eventually end up in winning. I could have also just lost here if I just didn't have that card. So hopefully the opponent didn't rage quit here. But as you can see, I get some rewards for playing. I'm ranking up, and I'm continuing the game. So if you have any questions about the game or you didn't understand these mechanics, just drop them in the chats. I want to take a look at them for you. I see some comments where I'm getting beat down. Yeah, I definitely was in that game, but eventually I got on top of that. So yeah, that stuff happens. I think that's where the fun in this game actually is. Let me play another game so you can understand my playing a little bit better, and you can see one round again. Of course, if you want to play with me, I think there is a feature where you can share a code for a game. It doesn't have a friend system yet because the game is still in a beta place. So there are some features not developed yet, like a friend system, but you can share a code with your friends and actually play a game together through that match code. Yeah, let's keep these. And because it's still in a beta game, they have a bug reporting feature. So here in the top, you have the settings you can access, but you also have the bug report. So if you find the bug report, make sure to email them. Make sure you add the cards which have the bug report. Maybe some players abusing the game, or it's just feedback. I think Gods Unchained likes that, all of that feedback. Like send them all feedback you have on the game. They are willing to improve. So we have a new set of cards. I'm playing second now, so you can see that the opener was played by the opponent, and that's where I get this bag of tricks. So I can add those extra mana, and I have 3 of these, and I can actually counter this one quite well with this hoplite, because let me play that, and I'll tell you in a few moments why I did that. The hoplite has frontline, so enemies must attack this creature, and it can't kill it, so it still has 1 left if it tries to break through it. And I actually remove that card, so I get some advantage here, and these small advantages through the game will add up. So it will actually add up, and I can still have this card on board. But of course, the opponent can counter this at all times. So he played a quite a strong accent game because it's a direct removal of my cards. It's 3 damage, and now he could attack my god with that creature. So I spent that mana. It didn't really play out how I hoped it would play out. So let's see if I can find another good play here. I could, of course, spend another mana here, but of course, the opponent could do too. I think he already spent that mana. I'm not sure, but let's just stay in that ramping system where I have 2 mana. I just played a 2 mana card. And that's how you also want to have that card at the start. Like you want actually a card that's 1 mana, 2 mana, or 3 mana, 4 mana. So you can actually just ramp up your performance and don't waste any mana at the start of the game, because that's where it's really valuable. Oh yeah, I think this was what happened. He used the bag of tricks and didn't use it. Yeah, so he used the bag of tricks but didn't use it. And I think that's what you see, that a lot of players are still finding out these mechanics in the game. But, they're just trying stuff out, and then they waste resources. Basically, what I do also quite a lot in this game. Let's see. What do I want to do? I can actually give that one burn. I can give that one burn. I can play this one, and he can't really break through. That was not the best move. I actually thought that would burn at the end of my turn, but what you can see is that it burns at the end of the controller's turn. So it burns at the end of the opponent's turn, so you can still use it. It wasn't that smart. I actually should have done it on this skeleton. And this is awful. After a friendly creature takes damage and survives, this creature gets +1 strength. So it's now a 4/5 creature for 4 mana, which is actually really good.
This looks promising.
So I think I want to put that to sleep. I think that might be the smartest thing to do, but I think there are some other options here where I can actually kill that one and then play 2 1-mana cards. Or I could use... I want to remove that one. That's for sure. Yeah, I'll just play both of these. And I'll just attack the opponent's god. So hopefully he doesn't have that direct removal. So he removes those 1/1 cards. He is playing quite a strong card here. It's a protected card, so the first damage it takes, it stops it actually. So I have to hit it twice for this to work. But I can also hit it with that Mage Bolt, but it cost me 2 mana, which is quite expensive for only 1 damage. So I am a little bit in a difficult position here.
My turn.
So I might want to use 1 extra mana eventually. I can give a friendly creature 1/1. That would be nice. I could remove that one in full. Yeah, this is where the combination goes into effect. I could remove this one, or I'm actually going to do that, which removes those both. Then I use this magic power to give it a hit, and this imp deals 1 damage to a random enemy character. So that means I could remove one of these just by using that effect. So it gets killed, and afterlife it does 1 damage, and it does damage to the god, which is absolutely the worst outcome in this. Like, there's also some randomness in these games that make them really, really fun. But I absolutely hated that here because it didn't work out. So I could play that extra mana. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to just play this. They have to trade it in, and that sweeps the board. But the opponent here is in the lead and can play a 5 mana card. I see in the chats that the community has been here since 2018 even. So they created a lot of other community content, decks, critics, channels. So the Discord is fun too. So make sure you take a look at Discord too, because there can be a lot of tips there. But I think there is also a new influx of players who really want to play to earn. So that might give you an advantage if you know these games already. This is a really hard one. Like, this is a backline, so it's at the backline, and it can only be attacked when there are no other friendly non-backline creatures on the board. So I have to first remove that creature to get to this creature first. So this makes it a little bit of a hard decision, but I think this is quite an awesome and high value card, so I'm going to play that one.
The light fades, day or night, war endures.
I see Baki say, this is basically Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, I played quite a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the fun thing about these games is that you don't have to pay a lot for all these cards. You can play them for free. but also you can have a lot of random effects, and these random effects work really, really well in a computer, because you can get random cards, you can get random targets on the field, which work a little bit better on a computer, and which does that real time instead of going into a with a card game. In my opinion, it looks really similar to Hearthstone, but these slight changes to the gameplay, also with that sanction here, the bag of tricks, and of course different cards and effects, make this a little bit more interesting. Let's see. I can't put that enemy to sleep. I'm not sure which one I want to choose, but let's sleep something, and yeah, let's sleep that one. Let's kill that one, or at least remove that barrier, and then I can. What do you want to do? I think this gives the most value for the trade.
I'm running out of
Yeah,
time.
there it is. So let's see if we get an answer. I think it's fairly even in the gameplay here. The opponent has one card, so I have that card advantage here. I also have those 2 mana, so from a resource perspective, I'm better off here, definitely. But I think the opponent controls the board a little bit better. And what the opponent currently is doing is actually rushing, because he knows that he doesn't have those resources left. So he has to go and actually attack me, so he can run down my health before I can actually build a board against it, which often is a good idea. But I'm actually not really sure if that's a good idea currently. I can give a friendly creature 1/1. I can regen. I can do 1 damage. Who do I want to give 1/1? I can give this one 1/1. So at least it survives a little bit better. That one gives burn damage, right? Let's see. That one gives burn. Yeah, so let's not provoke that. This one grows in health, so let's kill that too. And let's start. Can I attack that? Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I can attack that with that Mage Bolt. So actually, I'm much better off. So yeah, so I see Jordy joining in. Thank you for the nice comments. I spoke to Jordy just before the stream, and he was playing this also. So we're definitely going to play a game together. And we love to see what other people are building with their decks. So you can also comment on my Twitter, of course. Make sure you note on Twitter what your decks currently are, if you find interesting strategies, if you got nice cards. And this looks actually really bad suddenly for me. Let me maybe see if there is a good option here. I can draw a card, remove one durability from your hand. Yeah, maybe I need some card draw actually. This isn't the best place to be in. It changed quite quick. I can do 2 damage, so that's actually quite good, because I can do 2 damage and burn that one. Okay, let's do 2 damage. Oh, shit. Yeah, I want to remove that one. I'm not sure. Might have been smarter to actually remove this card. That was not smart. That was not smart. And these mistakes can cost you the game, like, directly. If you remove the wrong card, if you don't think it over, if you're talking too much on a stream, that kills your thinking, definitely. But playing more helps in what kind of trades to make, recognize the effects, and it will come easier. But right now it doesn't look too good. I don't really have a way to build boards. This card is way too high to play. I don't really have a really good answer. Give your god protected. Can I lure him? No, I cannot lure him in. Deal 3 damage. I can remove the board, which leaves me in a really bad place. Let's go for the gamble, right? Let's see if I can draw a good card. Maybe some health. Maybe this. I don't want that. In the next turn, let's remove this one. And let's remove at least this creature. Oh, that's really bad. Yeah. I think I'm toast. Yeah, I'm toast. Like, he does 2 damage. He can deal 3 damage. Let's don't give him the fun. You can also concede if you're, you know you're not winning the game. You can click concede and eventually concede the game, and then you quit. And makes rage quitting easier if you're really fed up with the game too. Anyway, I think that was the last game I want to show you. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about Gods Unchained, the trading card game. So you can collect cards. You can, hopefully, if you play regularly, you can get more God, which you can either sell on a marketplace or buy new cards with. So this is definitely a fun mechanic, and opens up the possibilities for trading card games a lot, in my opinion, because you can start selling your cards. You can build the decks you really want. If you want to spend money on the game, you can actually buy it from somebody else instead of just keep buying packs. But of course, you can buy packs too. Thank you for watching. I think I want to do more of these streams. If people are interested in me playing this game, I will probably learn more in the next few weeks about the gameplay. So I definitely want to continue. Of course, if you're interested in more trading related content, we also offer that. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. But if you want more in-depth knowledge on trading, you want more webinars, you want more calls, you want to learn how to do your own technical analysis, please visit us at thebirbnest.com. We still have the discount. It's less discount every day, so the quicker you buy, the more discount you get. So it actually pays to be early, like everything in crypto. So thank you for watching this live stream, and I'll see you in the Birb Nest.